Well, now what we're going to do today is we're going to melt some of these DVD cases. The story goes that I got some of these I got quite a few DVDs given to me for free because the Goodwill store was closing down. The Goodwill they did was they gave DVDs not just to me but to the community. Anyway, so I've got a few, to say the least. Anyway, so, and all the DVDs were locked. So what I had to do is unlock all the DVDs. In the process of unlocking the DVDs, some DVDs cracked, just because of age or whatever. They've just cracked. Anyway, so, and the purpose of this video is to see how we can reuse these DVD cases. They should melt quite fine, but what we need to find out is how will the plastic flow? Will it flow? Will it flow throughout the mould so we can use it on different projects, or will it just slump down in one place? I have a funny feeling it'll flow throughout the mould, so we might be able to use these in future projects of whatever kind. But even if it didn't flow, we could still use those in certain projects. But so what we first have to do is we have to establish what sort of plastic. Well, we know what sort of plastic it is. This is polypropylene. What they normally do is they normally tell you. They normally hide it. On here it's like PP written right there. Sometimes they're in symbols and anyway. Yeah, so what we have to do with these ones here is we have to cut out the stickers and cut out this one here. This is where the security seal was. Then once we do that, give it a bit of clean up to get rid of this plastic here. This is where the cover was. Then we should be all good to go then. Then we'll put it in the oven and we'll find out. Okay, the first test we're going to do is we're going to just put one section into the oven. And the idea of this is that when the plastic melts, we'll be able to see if it flows or whether it will slump down. Okay, so what we do is first turn it on. We'll test it at about 150 degrees. I close the lid and we just wait. And we're only at 150. We'll just have to see how far it spreads out. It could take 10 minutes or so to spread out. Now here's the shot with the door open anyway. You can see there's the back edge that's come down, the front edge, I mean the side edge, and also this front edge here, it's fallen down. I'll give you an update in about 5 minutes. Update on our part. Alright, it's been about 5 minutes now, and it hasn't started to flow at all. I've just turned the temperature up to about a little bit past 150 degrees. Probably maybe around 155, and the plastic hasn't started to flow yet. Now, if we turn the temperature up more, we possibly will make it flow. So that's what I'm going to do next, is I'm going to turn the temperature up probably maybe 160-ish, and we'll see how that goes. What we don't want to do is actually burn the plastic. So yeah, I'll give that a go and I'll see how that goes. At the temperature of about 160, we have a bit more success at getting it to flow. All the lumps have seemed to settle down and flowed into the main part. Okay, next what we need to do is see if we can bump the temperature up a little bit more to see if we can actually get it to spread out a little bit spread out a little bit bigger than what we currently have. So we'll try and go a little bit hotter, maybe 165 around there. It's been about another 5 minutes. We're getting more success now. The bubble at the back there, it started to disappear completely. So it is starting to flow. The edges have sort of gone over into like a it's starting to leach, but it just hasn't got there yet. So I'm going to turn it up a bit more and see how that goes. Another 5 minutes. Actually, I'm quite happy with that. Looks like it's flowed a bit more than the actual clumping. So now what we can do is we can go on to test number 2. So yeah. But before I go, the idea was to see if it flows. It does flow, but it doesn't have to flow throughout the whole container. What it has to do is it actually has to flow and mix in with the other bits of plastic to actually make a solid block. This was only just a test to see how far it will actually flow. A single piece flows, so that flows all right. So our next one is to see how this flows and see if we can get a solid block out of that. If it didn't flow, it wouldn't look like that at all. So that's a bonus. That's worked quite well, actually.